Alright, so let's get right into this build video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the gear. For the Inferno Staff, or the front bar, we're running an Inferno Staff of Ancient Grace Sharpen. This gives you extra max stats. It's a pretty basic set. So definitely have the Sharpen Staff though, you don't want anything else. Sharpen is the best in slot for this patch in particular. Crown lethal poisons on the front bar because why not? They're free. They give them to you all the time. Just use them. I would normally run escapist poisons, however, I just haven't crafted any. So if you want to run escapist poison, it's basically the poison recipe is basically just running. It's Alkahest, and then whenever you would run for your movability pod, and that would be your escapist poison. So in this case, it would be, let's see, I will go ahead and brew one right now just to show you. Just in case you don't know. Oop. Hello. Alright, well, let's do Alkahest, and then I believe it is the Columbine, Mountain Flower, and then Wormwood would give you your escapist poison. Mobilizes your target, grants you unstoppable, you get immune to crowd control, and then drains health, drains stamina. So you could also run, instead of Mountain Flower, to drain Magicka, you could run, let's see, probably Cornflower, if you wanted to, or something else that gives you Magicka. Lady Smop. I like Wormwood personally, and Mountain Flower. Oh, this one. This one gives you Breach as well. So, really good poisons to run there, and then. So that would be on the front bar, the Crown Lethal Poisons, just because they're there. Then on the back bar, we're running a Restoration Staff of Ancient Grace, and this one's going to be powered. The reason why is because of the 9% extra healing done, which is really good. And then on the backup, we have another double dot poison. This one is the one that's crafted, though. On the headpiece, it's a big piece. You get three big pieces on your body. You get head, chest, and legs. And those are your three big pieces. Everything else is considered a small piece. So on the big piece here, we're running a heavy, sturdy, for the extra block reduction. And it's going to give us, our Dami House is going to give us maximum stamina and maximum Magicka. So, very, very good. On our chest piece, we are running Crafty Alfiq. It's going to be a prismatic enchantment on the body, and it's well fitted to reduce the roll dodge cost. Swarm Mother's Epaulets, another reduction in block cost. This is going to be a light piece. You're going to want mostly light here, especially if you want to run the 3 shields. So we're only running two heavy on the body. Everything else is light. And then Waist of Crafty Alfiq here with the well fitted for the reduction on roll dodge cost. Crafty Alfiq gloves, also well fitted for the reduce the cost of roll dodge and sprint. Really good. And then Greaves of the Trainee, that's also well fitted, and that has a prismatic enchantment. All big pieces have prismatic except for, I believe, the Dami House. I don't believe I put a prismatic on there. Trainee just gives you maximum health, really, really good. And especially since they did something with Battle Spirit where they took away that 5k extra health that you get in Battle Spirit now in Cyrodiil, so you don't get that anymore. So you got to kind of spec a little bit into health. Crafty Alfiq shoes, Impen. We may run more Impen than we are right now later on, just depending on how squishy I feel. But I have run this recently in PvP all day yesterday, actually. And I know that's relative to YouTube, but day 2 of patch, and I felt it was really good. So there's that. Our first jewelry piece, the necklace, is going to be Ancient Grace. Arcane with spell damage. Mago infused, depending. And then also a Ring of Ancient Grace, and that is also arcane with spell damage. And then we have a crafty Elfique ring to round out the 5-piece. That is also arcane with spell damage. Alright, so that's the inventory. Well, we got the gear out of the way. Let's check out the character sheet real quick. Character sheet, we're looking at 45,000 max magicka, almost 28,000 maximum health, and then 20,000 stamina. Our recovery doesn't look great right now. When we pop a potion, it gets better. The spell damage is around 3,500 unbuffed, and our physical and spell resistance are sitting at around 15 and 12 respectively, with our crit resistance to 21. Let me pop a pot, and I will show you our buffed stats. So buffed stats, we're looking at 4,000 weapon damage, or spell damage, excuse me, 3,000 weapon damage, 21,000 spell resistance, 18,000 physical resistance, 1,000 magicka recovery, 1,000 health recovery, and we're pretty close to 1,000 stamina recovery there. And then our spell penetration is what's looking real juicy, with 12k spell penetration, so that's really nice. And you're going to do really well against melee fighters too, with this. So, let's go into our skills. So on the front bar here, we're running Elemental Weapon. This relies on light attacks. When you cast this ability, you basically buff up your light attack, and it will apply either Burning, Concussion, or Chilled. And we buff this with our champion points, and I'll show you how in just a minute here. But our second skill is going to be Haunting Curse. Haunting Curse hits twice. The first one is in 4 seconds, the second one I believe is in 8 seconds. Yeah, something like that. Well, it's close enough. 3.5 seconds for the first one, and 8.5 seconds after that. It's really nice for the combo. The burst is beautiful too. Crystal Frags is going to be our... it's not a spammable, it is... we only hit this on proc. It will proc, and it has a pretty high chance of proccing too, which is nice. It does reduce the cost and buff the damage as well when it's procced, so very good. A rule of thumb: don't use this until you see or hear the change. You'll hear it; it makes like a little chime sound, and then also you'll see like crystals go around your hands if you're observant enough to see that. And then another tell is that it changes color on the ability bar itself. On the front bar, we are running Streak. This ability is definitely... it scales with your highest offensive stat, which is nice. It does cost extra magic if you use it too much, but it does stun the enemy. This is a huge thing, so we're not using any root abilities except for Streak. So you can streak through multiple enemies too. Like if your group is getting surrounded, you can streak right through like whoever's surrounding you, and all of them will get stunned if they're not using immovability pots or something like that. So really nice. Endless Fury, this is kind of like an opener to a combo, especially if you know they're going to be damaged heavily in like the next couple of seconds. Cast this, weave a couple of elementals, cast this, put curse on them, weave a couple of these, and if you get a proc, that procs, and then boom, they're dead, basically. So it's really, it's a pretty easy combo. Sorc is pretty good this patch. It's going to be probably what a lot of people are running. If they know how to use it, that'll be one thing. If they don't, that'll be another thing. But yeah, the Sorc is definitely pretty powerful this patch. And then our front bar ultimate is going to be Power Overload. This is kind of, you don't really change this out for anything. But that's pretty much what we're running here. And then I had Lights Champion on here, but really what you want is Temporal Guard on the back bar for your ultimate. And then Boundless, So on your back bar here, we're running, this is our one heal, the Healing Ward. Call on your staff strength to protect you. Or the lowest health ally around you with damage shield. And then it heals up to 100% depending on the severity of the target's wounds of what you cast. And then while the shield persists, the target is healed for 37% of the shield's remaining strength every second. So you pop this, then you cast the rest of your shields and protect it. Dampen Magic is your second shield. You need the 5 pieces of light armor in order to run this. That's why we have a light shoulder piece. Boundless Storm, manifest yourself as pure lightning, zapping nearby enemies with electricity, blah blah blah, whatever. It gives you major resolve, which increases physical and spell resistance by about 6k, which is awesome. That's exactly what we want. And then Dark Conversion on the back bar. This is going to be our sustain ability. So on our back bar, we can go ahead and cast our shields, and we can start our Dark Conversions. Just make sure when you do Dark Conversion, you sort of get behind something to do it, because if you get interrupted, you're going to get stunned and knocked down. So it's not good. Just make sure that when you're using this, you know, you're getting your bearings back, you're getting your resources back. Just make sure you're doing it out of sight. And then our final ability on the back bar is Hardened Ward. It's a big shield, and it does 60% of your max health. So in this case, it would be about a 12k shield. In Cyrodiil, it would be about a 6k shield. And then on our back bar is Temporal Guard. This just reduces damage taken by 5% while you're on your defense bar, which is good. You can also use it if you want to, but I prefer to stay offensive, so I use Power Overload. Alright, so the next stop is going to be champion points. This is what you all are probably waiting for here with the new update. So we'll go to our passives in our craft tree, or not passives, but, well, we can do passives. So we have Gilded Fingers at the full amount. Fortune's Favor, we got up a little bit there. I got it to the first rank, and then I'm pushing to a little bit further. Wanderers at 10. Break Falls at 10, and then here we have 33. And Soul Reservoir for the chance to not consume a soul gem. Steadfast Enchantment, we have that all the way up to 50. This is for PvE, but you know, you can use it if you want. If you run enchantments instead of poisons, that's good in PvP. And then Master Gatherer, 15, and that was so we could get to Gifted Rider. And so our Slottables here are going to be Rationer, which adds 10 minutes to the duration of it per stage. It's 30 minutes we have it maxed out. Liquid Efficiency is maxed out. Gifted Rider is maxed out, and then we are also using Steed's Blessing, which is maxed out. This one and this one are PvE. And you could definitely put these, you can slot these once you get out of PvP. Take maybe Steed's Blessing off and put one of these on. I don't know. Either way, though, let's go to the blue tree. Our passives here in the blue tree, we have the Max Magica passive. In here, we take everything but this. And Resilience is a slottable. We definitely have that slotted. So we take all these. We might take points out of Elemental Aegis. Yeah, we might take points out of this eventually here. I'm just not sure. I still have to play around with this a little bit. In this tree here, this is a damage tree. So we have offensive penetration. So that's spell pen, extra spell pen. Flawless Ritual, applying magical status effects by 30% per stage, 60% increased chance, so that's good. And then weapon and spell damage to magical attacks. So we max that out in there. And then up here we have Deadly Aim, increase your damage done with single target attacks by 2% per stage. We have that maxed out, and then also Thaumaturge, we have that maxed out as well. I don't believe Thaumaturge is slotted though, so that's a PvE, so you don't really need that. And then Wrathful Strikes, grant 33 weapon and spell damage to your damaging abilities per stage. That's 165 maxed out. We have that. That is slotted. And then down here, this is the tank tree down here, but we do take Duelist Rebuff. It reduces your damage taken by single target attacks 2% per stage, and that's a 10% damage reduction. So in some ways, this is actually better than taking anything into Elemental Aegis or Hardy. You just take points into here, and then you can also take another, probably, you can take another one of these. Something. I might take something down here as well, but yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on the blue tree. I'll just show you my slottables. We have Deadly Aim slotted, Wrathful Strikes, Resilience, Duelist Rebuff. Those are the 4 to go for what I'm running here. And then on the red tree, now this is kind of like your sustain tree. So the passives, we have Tumbling, 360 cost reduction. Defiance reduces the cost of break free by 110 stamina per stage. We have that maxed out. Hero's Vigor, max health, an extra 1,000 max health, that always helps. Hasty, movement speed while sprinting, we have that up to the full. Sprinter reduces the cost of sprinting, we have that maxed out. And that's all the passives. Now for the slottables that we have slotted here, we have Siphoning Spells, restores 300 magicka per stage whenever you kill an enemy. This actually, I don't believe we need this one. So we'll put Slippery on here. Yeah, so the passives that we're using here is Slippery, Rejuvenation, Ironclad, and Boundless Vitality. And those are the 4 that we're using. Unchained will be really good, but we don't have enough points for it just yet. Siphoning Spells, I believe, is a PvE. I'm not sure why I had that slotted, but yeah, so Slippery, Rejuvenation, Ironclad, and Boundless Vitality are the 4 that I use for the red tree, along with the passives that I just went over. So that's the champion tree. Oops. I totally did that, didn't I? Did I do that right? Yeah, okay. Alright, so that is the champion tree there. I know it's a little bit different, but that's what I'm running, and it works out quite well. A note of thumb here, what I'm using for slottables. Bewitched Sugar Skull. Now you could use Artaeum. This would give you much more max health and max magicka, so that's always an option. Ghastly Eyeball if you need the recovery and you don't need the extra health, but I wouldn't recommend that, not in PvP anyway, not in this meta. And then we're using Alliance Spell Draughts as well, and I need to re-up on these, but these basically give you everything that a Spell Power Pot gives you. We have tripods here too, just in case we need them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and also I am a High Elf. Let me go ahead and show you what High Elf has for. So Spell Recharge is good, gives you a little extra stamina because we have less stamina than magicka every time we use an ability, which is good. It's nice recovery. This increases experience gain, blah blah blah, increases experience gain, who cares. And then Searbane's Boon increases your max magicka by 2,000, and then also your weapon and spell damage is increased by 258. So pretty nice, pretty similar to the Dark Elf, but you know, it's got a better, I think it's got better sustain than Dark Elves. Yeah, so that is the build. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps. I hope it clears things up a little bit for what we're running as a Magic Sword in PvP. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Well, this is a story all about how my life got flipped upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the first of its kind called ballet in the West.